A new week begins for LSU Fighting Tiger football.
Pressure comes, he unloads, and intercepted! Derek Stingley's got it in the end zone!
This is the Coach O Press Conference.
We look forward to seeing our guys today on Tell the Truth Monday, getting back to playing LSU style of football.
Coming up, Coach O sets the tone for this week. But first, from inside the Capital One studios on the campus of LSU, here is former Tiger Gordy Rush and the voice of your Fighting Tigers, Chris Blair.
Once again, good Monday, Tiger fans. That's right. Ready to head into another week. This time, SEC football is coming up. Tigers travel to take on Mississippi State. Early one in Starkville. The kickoff just after 11 o'clock a.m. Central Time. Before we talk about that, of course, look back to this past weekend. Big win, 49-21. Tigers moved to 2-1 on the season. At the bottom of the hour, head coach Ed Ogeron will join us. He'll take questions from the media and, as always, kind of set the tone in his opening comments for what he's expecting for the team, what he's proud about from last week, what they're trying to work on, and what to expect from the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. Gordy Rush, 49-21. I believe during the broadcast on Saturday night, you, Doug Morrow, myself, we talked about the fact that, it looks good, 49-21. You take away a couple of plays, the interception for the pick six, the busted play earlier in the first half for the 78-yard touchdown. That game is even more lopsided. But your takeaways, the positives coming away from a victory in Week 3 to get above 500.
Yeah, it was dominant performance by LSU in most phases of the football game. I think the big storyline was offensively, is that LSU went from, I think, counterpunching and a slower pace of getting the play in and what have you to going up tempo, especially on first and second down. I thought LSU played more in their front foot. They were more aggressive. They attacked, and it was huge for LSU. Max Johnson looked really, really comfortable. It paid dividends as the offense exploded in the first half.
I mean, 9 different receivers catching balls on Saturday night. And, what stood out to me when you take a look at the stat line, number one, Max Johnson, 26 of 35, did have that interception, but it looked like he and the receiver were not on the same page there. Ball came out. They run it back in. But again, he threw for 372 yards, 5 passing touchdowns. No LSU quarterback has done that since, as we mentioned, Joe Burrow against Clemson in the national title game. That's pretty good company there. But the 9 receptions or 9 different receivers, here's what stood out to me, Gordy, and it goes back to knowing that you've got this type of talent at the receiver spot. Kayshon Boutte, he finishes 6 catches, 44 yards, 28 yards after the catch. Jack Besh, 9 catches, 81 yards, did get his first scoring touchdown. He had 40 yards after the catch. You can go down this list. 22 yards after the catch for Deion Smith, who was spectacular with 2 touchdowns, led the way, 5 catches, 135 yards. Devontae Lee, 22 yards after the catch. Coy Moore had the big one to set up the touchdown late in the game, 27 yards after the catch. I guess the lesson for me, the layman, is get the ball in these guys' hands, and whether it's a 5-yard pass, 12-yard pass, it's going to turn into a big play.
And what's scary is that you really haven't talked about Malik Neighbors.
Right.
We haven't talked a whole lot about Brian Thomas from Walker High School, and we talked about Chris Hilton from Zachary, who was the Louisiana High School 400-meter champion. I mean, he's got incredible speed. LSU is so deep at the receiver group, and it was good to see the freshmen really stand out. And that was another storyline. These freshman receivers stepping up with Trey Palmer, who did not dress. Kirkland has been out the first couple games. So it's a good returning group of receivers from a year ago. Now you add these 5 freshmen to the mix. I don't think there are too many teams in America can go 1 through 10 in the receiver room like LSU can.
Jack Bash, as advertised, simply just state that. I mean, he's impressive because wherever he gets the ball, he's not going down there. I mean, he's going to catch it, and then he's going to get extra yards. And coming away from fall camp, I know you and I talked about Deion Smith. He was really, a lot of people may not realize this, he was one of the most highly recruited wide receivers, not in Mississippi, in the entire country. Malik Neighbors, who got kind of banged up, it hasn't been fully healthy. We saw him make a catch, a great catch on the sideline Saturday. But it's almost as if there's an opportunity for each of these young guys, Brian Thomas, who you mentioned, to have the kind of game that Dion did. I mean, that's the kind of talent you have, and it's just a matter of which guy is going to have the super night, because they're all going to have good nights.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Mickey Joseph in the locker room after the football game, and nobody's more excited than he is. He said the competition, each and every week is going to be better than the game, because they're all going to push each other, because they all want to get the ball. They know the veterans know how good the freshmen are. It's just rarely do you get this sort of depth at this position, and you don't know who's going to be the standout guy week to week. You and I, we've talked several times about the last big scrimmage that we went to, and it was Malik Neighbors who was the guy, and we've yet to really see him other than that one catch.
49-21. We mentioned Max had a good night at the office over at Death Valley. Let's go to the offensive line a little bit. I thought there were cleaner pockets for the majority of that game. Still some breakdowns. In fact, maybe one of the more impressive plays to me for Max Johnson was early in the game when he was able to, kind of go back in the pocket, slide it, get out of the pocket to his left, again being left-handed, able to throw that ball down the field and make something out of that play. But your thoughts on the offensive line getting a couple of guys back last week?
Yeah, better, certainly better. And you rotated some folks out there at the left tackle position. Cam Wire still not back. He hurt his ankle against UCLA. We'll hopefully hear something about him here from Coach. They were better, I think. And certainly in pass protection, some of it is that LSU went tempo. And when you go tempo defensively, you really don't give them a chance to line up. They can't run all these exotic blitz packages. That's some of it, and the ball's coming out quicker. But they did a better job protection. I think the one question mark is LSU didn't have to run the football. Certainly when they did early in the game, only about 30 or 40 yards, and they're going to want to get better in the run game as the season goes on.
Obviously, as we said from the outset, you want to get rid of some of the big plays and busted plays, not just big plays. I mean, not taking anything away from the Chippewas. Ja'Cory Sullivan's a very talented receiver, and he showed his speed, but he ran 30 yards with nobody around him to set up that play. But overall, defensively, you got 2 takeaways, which we all know when you can get the ball back in the hands of your offense, things are going to go well for you. They got Major Burns had his first career interception. Derek Stingley, should there be any more doubters out there that he knows how to play defense other than covering passes? I mean, he had 2 really good tackles early in the game. One caused the fumble. Anthony picks it up, takes it on in for the scoop and score. Defensively, it looked like, again, outside of those big plays, that kind of carried over from where they did in week 2, being very aggressive. It was the type of LSU defense, to take your words during the broadcast, that you expect. They were fierce, they were aggressive, and they were taking the fight to the Chippewas.
And I think it really started up on the defensive front four. Andre Anthony had a very nice game for his injury. We'll hear hopefully some good news coming up here from Coach O. And really, it's the young interior linemen that have been turning heads. We've talked about Smith, Roy, Guillory, Evans. Farrell came back and played a little bit. Really, really impressive there. Better linebacker play. Damone Clark had a nice football game. Baskerville, we saw a little bit of Mike Jones Jr. I thought it was a really solid defensive performance. Chris, you mentioned it. 2 breakdowns in coverage, 2 busted assignments that led to 2 touchdowns. Got to clean that up. There were 4 of those against UCLA. There was 1 a week ago. And then you had the 2 against Central Michigan. Mississippi State, as we saw last year to open the season, and we'll talk about them next segment, you've got to be sound. They're already going to gain a lot of yards. That's what they do. They're going to throw the ball 60 times a game. Don't give them any freebies.
Well, speaking of which, you talk about the defensive line. The numbers really this season are incredible. I mean, they're tops in a couple of categories. In fact, sacks and sack yards. I mean, they're getting after without a lot of blitzes. I mean, those front 4 are getting pressure to the quarterback. And, watching the game Saturday, early on, they were getting close. They didn't get home early, but that disrupts the flow of an offense.
That's a big part of this game plan coming up is that State's going to spread you out. The ball's going to come out quick, so there's going to be a lot of 4-man rushes. You don't get a chance to blitz Mike Leach a whole lot. That's not always part of the best game plan. So LSU is going to be dependent on that front 4 to get some push.
Congratulations, B.J. Ojulari, announced as the SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week. He certainly was super aggressive in the game last week. Special teams solid. I mean, it's pretty good when Cade York is so good at point afters that late in the game, coach decides, hey, let's give one of the young guys a chance to go in there and hit a point after. But Avery Atkins upped his average punting the football. Hopefully you don't have to punt a whole lot this coming weekend, but as he starts to get more 45, 47, even 50-yard punts, things are going to look good there. So, I mean, all in all, again, take away those couple of plays, it was really a really great effort by LSU.
Yeah, and a lot of energy, and one of those games that you're supposed to win, but more than what the experts said, LSU winning by 28 points. I think it came at a good time, Chris, because this team needed some confidence. They can take that confidence going into SEC play.
All right, a big win, 49-21. Again, LSU moving to 2-1 on the season. They now enter SEC play. It's not their final non-conference game. They'll get the Warhawks of ULM coming up later in the season. But now it is all about the SEC, and more specifically the SEC West. Mississippi State will host the Tigers this weekend in Starkville with kickoff just after 11 o'clock. Let's take a look at the Bulldogs. We'll do that when we continue right after this. It's the Coach O press conference. It's presented by People's Health right here on the LSU Sports Radio Network.
Do you have Medicare and make less than $1,615 per month? Or do you have Medicare and Medicaid? You may be eligible for extra benefits you're not getting now, and you may be able to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan from People's Health. Don't wait. If you enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan from People's Health today, your benefits may begin the first day of next month. Call 1-855-410-7761. That's 1-855-410-7761. People's Health, your Medicare health team.
Your team is on a 3-game winning streak, and you're convinced it's because you've worn your lucky football jersey and haven't taken it off. Not for work, a wedding, or even bathing. With Cox, you can actually wear it all season long because we give you game day coverage and content 24/7. So join us and dress accordingly.
Hey, Tiger fans, just say Fan Zone into your Contour voice remote and enhance your game day experience all week long. Play games, win prizes. Cox, we're LSU fans 24/7.
It's time we all get back. It's time we all get back to more. More one-of-a-kind Saturdays. More rockin' jam-packed stadiums. More of what makes the mighty Southeastern Conference so much more. Team up with the SEC and learn more about the COVID-19 vaccination by going to GetVaccineAnswers.org. The SEC backs the vax because it's time we all get back to more. Go to GetVaccineAnswers.org. The SEC. It just means more.
LSU Tiger fans are gearing up with real Tigers apparel and merchandise from the official online store at lsushop.net. Get jerseys, sideline gear, polos, t-shirts, hats, official team merchandise from Nike, accessories, and much more. Over 3,600 products, all shipped right to your door. Head to the place real Tiger fans go for the selection only real Tiger fans get at lsushop.net.
Leading you up to this week's Coach O press conference. Here again are Gordy Rush and Chris Blair.
Getting you ready for the matchup coming up this Saturday in Starkville. LSU taking on Mississippi State coming up in, about 7 minutes. Coach Ed Ogeron will take the podium. He will talk about this past weekend and then set the sights on the matchup to open SEC play coming up in just a little bit. Let's talk Mississippi State. Before we do, though, Gordy, earlier this morning it was announced that the matchup with Auburn and the Fighting Tigers of LSU going to be 8 o'clock Central Time Saturday night in Death Valley for Auburn and LSU.
The Tiger fans just hate to hear 8 o'clock. Extra tailgating.
Oh, my
bonus
goodness.
Tailgating.
Oh, it'll be quite a hopping spot when that game comes up a week from this Saturday. Fans, want to remind you can bring some flavor to your game day with Tabasco hot sauce. Go Tigers and go Tabasco, the official hot sauce of LSU athletics. Mississippi State is 2-1. They had a tight one with Louisiana Tech to open the season. Had a really good performance. Coach Leach said maybe one of their best overall since he's been there. That's big words. In the win over NC State at home, 24-10, and then last week got in a shootout with Memphis, and then maybe some controversy at the end when the SEC releases a statement. Maybe it didn't go the way it should have, but they come up short to Memphis, 31-29. I was talking to my colleague Neil Price earlier this morning. I said, tell me the short on Mississippi State. He said, very talented, but got to get consistent. Right. He said, if you can get the talent and execution to hit at the same time, this team has a high ceiling. But right now, they're kind of hit and miss.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Will Rogers, their sophomore quarterback. He was 50 of 67 for 419 yards and 3 touchdowns. They moved the football, Chris, up and down the field. But when they got in the red zone, that's where the mistakes came, and they couldn't get into the end zone. And, that's one of the things that has been one of the knocks on Mike Leach offensively and his teams is they will throw for a lot of yards, but when you get down there in the red zone, a lot of teams like to play zone, keep the ball in front of them, and they struggle to score touchdowns, and you just got to be able to exchange touchdowns with field goals.
Now, Will Rogers right now, 8 touchdowns to just 1 interception. Now, this is no surprise. File this in the Captain Obvious folder. But they're a team that's averaging 361 yards through the air and about 46 yards on the ground. We talked about it last year going into the first meeting with Mike Leach. It kind of throws out the let's stop the run and make them throw mentality. But how important is it to still be concentrating on the run, but at the same time knowing you're going to have people back there covering in space because they're going to throw the ball.
Yeah, and again, for LSU, what they did last year against Mississippi State's not the way that you attack air raid. You don't want to get in and try to play press man-to-man. He runs too many mesh routes, crossing routes, and it's going to pick you apart, and that's where all the big plays come. You need to be patient. First off, you need to be able to get a good rush with 4 or 5 defenders up there and keep the ball in front of you and make them throw accurate passes and make them pay every time those receivers catch the football in front of them. You're right. This is one thing. Mississippi State this year, Leach doesn't have a whole lot of balance. Not that he ever is a big running team, but he's had better running games. He had some decent running games at Washington State. He does not have a great running game right there, so they are a little one-dimensional. And he said it in his press conference after the Memphis game. Too inconsistent on offense. They were the better team. They should have won this football game against Memphis.
Also, no surprise, 6 receivers, double-digit catches, led by Mekhi Polk. He's got 25, 226 yards, and a score. Marks has 22 with 1 touchdown. You got to cover these guys. I mean, they're going to use everybody at their disposal in the passing game. But I go back to what we mentioned in the first segment, that defensive front. The fact that LSU's been able to get pressure, been able to lead the country in sacks and sack yardage means that maybe you can drop some guys back, try to blanket coverage some guys, and maybe get to Will Rogers.
And that's the way, again, that's the way I think Washington University, University of Washington, rather, came out, and that was they put the blueprint out on handling Leach, and a lot of teams in the Pac-12 kind of took to that and had some success if you've got the people on the back end to do that. For LSU, they've got the corners, they've got the defensive backs, again, playing within the defense and not having missed assignments or broken coverages.
I like the play, and I've said it for 2 weeks now, even though it was against McNeese State, even though it was against Central Michigan, there's been better coverage, better contain in the middle part of the field from the linebacking core and the safeties, which is going to be imperative because Leach, if he can do it, he knows what he's got with Ricks and Stingley.
No question.
So he's going to try, just like he did last week or last year, keep it right in the middle of the floor, field, try to get somebody to pop a big play. I like, at least fundamentally, the improvements since the opener in week 1 for LSU covering the middle of the field.
I tell you, I think they've done a nice job, the coaching staff, of simplifying things. Durante Jones, he wanted to check when UCLA moved, and that's not always the best thing, and that leads a little bit of confusion. I think he simplified it a little bit, got the players lined up, let them execute the defense, and be more instinctive and play football.
All right, Coach Ed Ogeron is ready to go. Gordy, we'll see you in Starkville.
Sounds good.
All right. Hello, everybody. Outstanding team effort. I want to thank our coaches for working so hard last week and then taking the next step for our team. We made some improvement. We're not there yet. We got to continue to stay hungry, continue to work on the things that we identify that we have to fix, and we have to stay hungry this week. This is a very challenging opponent in Mississippi State and a hostile crowd starting SEC play. I want to thank our great Tiger fans. That Tiger walk was exceptional, and the energy that you provide to me and to our team, I want to thank you for it. And our student body, the whole game. You guys are outstanding, and we really appreciate you guys. A couple of things that we worked on last week, and we did improve. Our tempo has gotten better. It's not where it needs to be. We need to continue to improve. Explosive plays, we had 12, which was really good. We improved in our protection. We only had 1 sack, but we're still not there yet. We're going to be challenged again this week. thought Max Johnson played a good game. You saw Deion Smith, Jack Best, and Corey Connor, the same things we've been seeing in camp. They finally got a chance to do it in Tiger Stadium. I'm happy for them, and I'm happy for the whole offense. They improved a lot. On defense, we want to start fast. We want to strike blocks. We want to cause turnovers. We want to put pressure on the quarterback. We did that. We caused 2 turnovers, had a touchdown. I thought we played very good in spots. We still gave up some missed assignments, some deep balls. We have to fix that in a hurry. The things that we're working on this week must improve this week. Continue to improve in tempo. Continue to improve in our run game. I thought Corey Connor made some outstanding runs. Some were open holes, some he did on his own. We have to block better. We have to come up with better schemes. And pass protection needs to continue to improve. We're going to be challenged this week. Arnett is a very, very good defensive coordinator. On defense, obviously the crossing routes, the wheel routes, the pick routes, all the things that we saw last year, we've seen them again on film, and they're very good at it. Special teams, punt return. We're losing a lot of hidden yardage. We got to catch all balls. We got to do a better job of catching the football before it hits the ground. We got to do a better job of holding up guys on the line of scrimmage so our punt returner has room to at least get 10 yards. We're going to work on that hard this year. On Mississippi State, obviously Mike Leach runs the air raid, led by quarterback Will Rogers, 2 outstanding wide receivers in Jaden Valley and Mekhi Polk. But they're all over the place. They got athletes all over the place. They know how to throw the football. They know how to dissect defenses. They're very good. On defense, I said Zach Arnett. I interviewed him last year. A very talented young coach. Runs a 4.25. Has unusual ways to get to the 3-3 stacks. Makes it very challenging in protection. He has a very good defensive line led by Tyra Sweet and Jaden Crumley. Mississippi State is going to be a big challenge. Obviously, an SEC team playing in a hostile crowd. Any questions?
Ed Wilson-Alexander from The Advocate. You were, I think, worried about Andre Anthony after the game. What's his status now? I
just had a conversation with him. And let me say this about Andre Anthony. What an outstanding Tiger. What an outstanding leader. I've coached Andre. Andre has been with me since the beginning here. We absolutely love him. He has a season-ending injury. We just discussed it. But it's sad news. It really is, because he's having a good season. He's going to be unavailable this season, but he's going to be with us. He's going to deal with it, and what the next step is for him, we're going to find out.
Hey, Coach, Matt Trent, WBRZ. And I've got 2 quick ones in that same vein. I know Austin Deculus got hurt but walked off on his own free will. I mean, is he good to go for this week?
Yeah, he's going to be good. He'll be fine. Okay. I'll call him Iron Man. He gets a little injury and he bounces back about 2 plays later. Austin played more snaps than anybody here at LSU. Very tough, very good Tiger.
And another one is, I know Max, after the game on Saturday, said that a huge reason for the passing attack being so successful is Kayshon Boutte moving to the slot.
Right.
I just want to ask what the philosophy leading up to that was, and when you look back at it on film, how did him in that position make everything?
Well, we want to get him the ball quick, and we want to put him on a nickel and see if we can get him the ball up the middle, see if we can get him the ball on the bubble screens, which is the slots closer. It was just different ways to get him the ball in the fly sweep, get him involved early. But you know what? It ended up opening up the outside for us. I don't think we had planned that, to be honest with you. They singled up those guys on the outside, and those guys on the outside had success.
Coach, this is Josh Sibley with Louisiana Gridiron Football. I know in the past you've mentioned going with a hot hand. Do the past 2 games for Connor translate to more carries?
Say it again now?
I know in the past you've mentioned going with a hot hand. Do the past 2 games for Connor translate to more carries for him?
Oh, sure. We want to get those guys. Monty Goodman's going to be healthy. Ty Davis is still our starter, but, we want to get the ball in our best players' hands. And the more snaps they can get, the better off we're going to be.
Hey, Coach. This is Glenn West with LSU Country. Obviously, just because of the nature of Mississippi State's offense, they're going to put as many receivers out there as they possibly can. I'm just curious as to what the defensive approach might change. Do you guys envision maybe dropping some more guys back to kind of help with the passing game coverage, or how do you kind of envision that going this week?
Well, that's something I can't tell you, Glenn. I mean, it's, it's something, we have a plan. We've been looking at Mississippi State ever since we couldn't stop them last year, and it was embarrassing. I was embarrassed as a coach, and I take full responsibility. So, yes, we have some plans to do some different things, but obviously I can't tell you.
Hey, Sheldon Nichols with the Advocate. With Andre Anthony out, do you expect Alligator to be back this week? And
yeah.
Also, B.J. Ojulari. He's got more sacks already than he did in 10 games last year. Where has he made the biggest jump, and what's his biggest strength?
First of all, I got to give Andre Carter the credit. He has come in here as a defensive line coach, brought energy, is coaching those guys. He had 80.5 sacks. He's teaching them some stuff. He's challenged them every day on the little things, showing them how he did things. He's being a great leader, provides a lot of energy. So Andre has done a great job of coaching those guys. BJ's playing more. He's playing the right end. We're playing more of an attacking style defense. We got him wider. Last year we had him right on the tackle, which is not conducive to making plays in the backfield. We got him 2 foot outside the tackle and rushing every time, so that's helping. Yes, Ali Gay will be back, and then we moved Mason Smith. Moved Mason Smith to defensive end, so you're going to see a 3-man rotation between Mason, Ali, and B.J. Ojulari.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, this is Shea Dixon. One, I'm sorry if I missed this. Do you expect Jay Ward to be back? And two, how much is this game, or at least do you think is on the mind of the players who played in that game a year ago, specifically on defense?
Sure.
A bit of a revenge game for them.
Well, I don't know about a revenge game, but we have our antennas up. We know how good they are. And we know when we got in the game, but we weren't expecting to get we got burnt. I mean, we just couldn't cover, and we just didn't have the answers. So hopefully this year we do have the answers. I don't think it was our players' fault at all. They just weren't in good position. They were confused. Hopefully we fix that. And I think Jay Ward's going to play. We have to see how the week goes, but we need him. And hopefully he plays this week. We're going to need him.
Thanks.
Hey, Coach. Of course, everyone's already asked about the rebounding from the 2020 loss to Mississippi State. But what have you seen specifically that gives you confidence that this game won't be like last year?
Well, I can't tell you that I've seen anything that gives me confidence that it won't be like last year. I'm not going to say that. My antennas are still up. We got a great week of preparation ahead. We have to get better. We still have some misassignments there. We still have some busts. Crossing routes have given us a problem. We still have some guys loose in coverage. So those things need to be fixed. They're fixed in a hurry because I know they're going to find it. So do I believe that we're going to play well? Yes. Do I believe that we're going to get better? Yes, but we still have a lot of things to fix.
Right, and just a second question. A lot of young guys stepped up. Not just Corey Kiner.
Yeah.
How much do you foresee the young receivers, stepping up and taking more snaps and possibly starting roles going forward?
Yeah, we're gonna play them. We'll play them all. We have eight, 9 receivers that can catch the ball, and when you go hurry up and you run more snaps, we're gonna need all these guys to play. So, it doesn't matter to me who starts. Guys are gonna get snaps. Guys are gonna play. Hopefully we can spread the ball around and everybody's happy because we do have a lot of receivers that deserve to catch the ball.
Hey, Ed Daniels in New Orleans. Couple of questions, please. Do you think, I know you had a bust, it looked like, in coverage in the game on Saturday. Do you think for the most part that you have that fixed? And two, how critical is it in this league to win that first game and get off to a good start?
It's very critical. And, we have no room for error. And I knew that going into the last game, and it's the same this game. And we're going on the road. We're playing our first SEC game. And do I believe we solved most of those problems? Yes, I do believe we have different answers. We have different defenses. But you know what? We didn't answer the first challenge. The first challenge against UCLA, we didn't play very good. And we've gotten a little bit better, but there's a lot of things that we have to continue to fix, and we are going to be challenged this Saturday.
And one of those receivers, obviously Jack Besh, had a huge game. Y'all bring him in as a traditional wide receiver after shifting to tight end when that position got kind of thin. But is that position almost in what he's doing kind of fit his personality, chipping defensive ends and that kind of thing?
Yeah, it does. I think Jake has done a good job of finding out what he can do. Jack was one of these guys, just like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Justin Jefferson. He was a 3-star, but we all liked him. And what a great player, man! And he has the heart of a tiger, and he's going to do a lot of great things for us. He brings a lot of energy to our team. He's a winner.
Hey, Coach. Good morning. A couple of quick questions for you. Mississippi State is not the biggest stadium in the league, but it seems like they've done a really good job of concentrating that crowd noise and making it a tough place to play. What kind of challenges does that present for you?
Yeah, we're going to play music all week, and they play. They get those speakers really loud there. Their fans are involved. It's going to be 11 o'clock in the morning. We got to wake our guys up and get going. But yes, it does provide a challenge. They get those cowbells going. It is one of a lot of stadiums we're going to play in.
It's a game by game process. You're only focused on Mississippi State, but you got that 8 p.m. kickoff against Auburn in Tiger Stadium. If you do well, if you come back to that, the next 2 weeks, how critical could they be to turning this thing the way you want it to go?
We take it in 1 week at a time. You're right, but this we're zeroing in on Mississippi State, and more than Mississippi State is about LSU. And continue to fix LSU. There's a sense of urgency to fix us. I know we have good players. I know we have a good staff. We got to continue to put everything together to be the type of team we want to be.
Hey, Coach. Just I guess going back and looking at the film, you guys, slid Mason over to defensive end after Andre's injury. I was curious what you guys thought of how he looked at that spot, and just what about his game makes him so unique to be able to move really all across the defensive line.
Yeah, I think Mason has a chance. If you look at a prototypical left defensive end in the NFL, he's a left defensive end. That's where most of the runs go to. And you want a big defensive end to play over a tight end. And he's very athletic to play in space. So I think he has a chance to be a dominant football player there. He shows some things that are very dominant. He's a great inside rusher. He's learning how to play outside. I think he's just scratching the surface.
Yeah, and Ron Higgins, Tiger Rag. What's the next step of improvement in the evolution for Max Johnson as quarterback?
I do believe the hurry up, getting our guys better acquainted to do hurry up more during the game. We still not getting lined up like we want. We still had a delay of game. We didn't call the play in soon enough. He took too much time at the line of scrimmage. Understanding protections, know when to run the ball, know when to step up in the pocket. And I think the biggest thing is locating his receivers and getting rid of the ball quick.
Hey, Ed, this is Michael Cobbler, Channel 2. I had 2 questions as well. You talk about the pass rush. How much of that is the secondary doing their part and maybe giving them that extra beat to get home?
It all works together, no question. And we tell them, hey, take away the first choice, we got the second. And a lot of times, the quarterback has not had a lot of times to throw because we have tight coverage. I think we have 2 of the best corners in America. And our coverage is improving, but we still have a ways to go. There's still some holes in there. There's still some things to fix.
On the other side of the ball, you said it last week about trying to find the perfect play versus just calling a play with it. Maybe in the last 4 years, it seems like coordinators and coaches are more willing to throw that 50-50 ball, maybe put the ball at risk a little. Is that what it takes to succeed in college football and on offense this time of year?
Yeah, you got to take your shots. You got to beat your one-on-ones. You got to have players to beat guys on one-on-ones. There was a lot of one-on-one shots, especially on the outside. I thought Bax threw some great balls. I thought Dion caught some great balls. It's just a combination. But if you can do that, if you can beat your one-on-ones, you got a great shot of making some explosive plays, which we had 12 of them.
Coach, you mentioned that you've got obviously the best 2 corners in the nation. Did you think Saturday was Derek Stingley's best tackling game? I know he UCLA, but do you think he really bounced back Saturday?
Yeah, you got to give him credit. Look, UCLA, the first week he practiced with UCLA, he didn't tackle all camp. So him missing a tackle was not his fault. he's put in a position that he hadn't done yet. And in order to tackle, you got to tackle. And Corey's been working with him on tackling. He's healthy. He did a tremendous job. Those tackles he made were great, but that's typical Derek Stingley. That's just a matter of practicing and tackling.
Ed, the early returns on this recruiting class look very good. How good do you think it is?
I really think it's our best class that we've had here. From top to bottom, they're great kids, they're great young men, outstanding players. It's very well balanced. But we're going to see. But they are showing right now it's one of the best classes we've recruited since I've been here.
Coach, I heard last week you guys only practiced outside like 4 or 5 times since like the beginning of August.
Yeah.
How did that factor in? I know you want to get him out there and get him sweating and get him in shape. Did that kind of play any factor in leading into the year at all?
Yeah, obviously, you think about the 2:30 games that we've had here or in the swamp at Auburn have been very hot. Obviously, I've been concerned about that. We have not been challenged yet. We haven't practiced outside like we want to practice. At the time we did practice, it was difficult with our team. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. From what I'm hearing, 11 o'clock Saturday morning, I hope it is, and 8 o'clock on Saturday night, so we should be fine.
Hey, Coach, sorry if you hadn't answered this during post-game Saturday, but just with the way Deion Smith, emerged, how much did he have to do to earn that playing role, and, what's his future looking like?
Oh, yeah, he's going to play more and perhaps start. We're going to see how the week goes. And but listen, we got a lot of guys that deserve to play, deserve to start. I think that's a day-by-day process. We do have to get him the ball more. We're not going to stop giving him the football, and he does deserve to play more.
Hey, Coach, I'm kind of curious. You mentioned you're going to be playing music all week to get ready for Mississippi State. What's on the playlist for this week?
Yeah, all those songs they play, all that stuff they play. We have cowbells, and nobody's going to have cowbells, but we're going to have it on the Doug does a great job. Our film guy, he backs up his little court with big speakers on it, plays it right behind the quarterback. It's kind of fun. Our guys enjoy it.
Coach Tressa Boucher with NBC 33 here in Baton Rouge. The warm-ups this weekend, did you feel a different energy, a different vibe from your team?
Yeah, I did. Thank you for noticing that. I did. I really did. I felt it Friday night in the meeting. We had some good meetings on Friday night. I thought our coaches did a good job of getting our guys fired up. They understood that it was time for us to play LSU football, for us to play our identity. We challenged all of us. We challenged ourselves to be at our very best. And this game was about LSU. It wasn't about Central Michigan. And our guys went out and performed at a high level, but a lot higher than they did the last 2 weeks. But we still have a lot of room to go. But there was a different energy on our football team.
Coach, Steve Moulton with WZZN. I appreciate the time here today. So last year, the air raid, and I'm trying to remember your exact wording of just not as prepared as you wanted to be. So tell me about preparing for the air raid since then, and of course, getting up for game week, Coach.
Yeah, well, these route concepts that Mississippi State's going to give us, we've been practicing for a while. We have game planned Mississippi State in the summer. We looked at them. Now we're looking at them again. We have adjusted certain things for Mississippi State, and we got to see if it works. It's going to be challenged. It's not going to be perfect, but there's no way that we can have the missed assignments that we had last year and be successful.
Coach, listening to you talk, it sounds like you're getting to that good spot where you have too many players that can make plays and just don't.
Yeah. It's a good problem. And you know what? We're going to need them all. As the season goes by, we're going to need them all. And listen, I was at the University of Southern California where Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart and Lindell White was in the backfield, and everybody was happy. So we got to keep everybody happy. Everybody's going to get the ball, and it's about a team. It's not about any individual. That's why we say it's one team, one heartbeat, and everybody going.
Is that a deal where the competition then really takes the team to the next level because now they want it?
That's what we want. And you come to LSU, the biggest competition you should have is on that practice field. And you see it. And guys, the younger guys, we expect them to play. we tell them, the older guys understand that. We expect you to play. We expect you to compete. And a lot of them are doing it. Thank you, guys. Go Tigers.
Head coach Ed Ogeron on this week's Coach O press conference presented by People's Health. Heartbreaking news for Andre Anthony. Of course, the injury going to end his season here in 2021. Our heart and our thoughts are with him, although Coach O says he will still be part of the team. His leadership will definitely be needed down the stretch. The Tigers get ready for Mississippi State. Kickoff 11 a.m. in Starkville coming up this Saturday. We'll close out the Coach O press conference right after this on the LSU Sports Radio Network. LSU Tigers with Hancock Whitney, the official bank of LSU Athletics. From game day to the offseason, Hancock Whitney LSU credit and debit cards are a big win for any Tiger fan. Want to get your paws on these cards? Well, apply online or visit HancockWhitney.com/LSU. Hancock Whitney Bank, member FDIC. All accounts subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions may apply.
Our Lady of the Lake, just like LSU, is anchored by deep roots put down almost a century ago. We share a singular vision to advance health, education, and research to serve the incredible people of Louisiana. Our partnership with LSU is inspired by our passions for knowledge and our commitments to our community and healthy Louisiana families. Together, there's nowhere we can't go. Our Lady of the Lake is proud to be the healthcare provider of LSU Athletics.
LSU Tiger fans are gearing up with real Tigers apparel and merchandise from the official online store at lsushop.net. Get jerseys, sideline gear, polos, t-shirts, hats, official team merchandise from Nike, accessories, and much more. Over 3,600 products, all shipped right to your door. Head to the place real Tiger fans go for the selection only real Tiger fans get at lsushop.net.
It's time we all get back. It's time we all get back to more. More one-of-a-kind Saturdays. More rockin' jam-packed stadiums. More of what makes the mighty Southeastern Conference so much more. Team up with the SEC and learn more about the COVID-19 vaccination by going to GetVaccineAnswers.org. The SEC backs the vax because it's time we all get back to more. Go to GetVaccineAnswers.org. The SEC. It just means more.
This is the Coach O Press Conference.
That'll wrap things up for this Wednesday's Coach O Press Conference presented by People's Health. Again, the Tigers on the road. They open SEC play this coming Saturday, 11 a.m. Davis Wade Stadium in Starkville. The Tigers take on Mississippi State. Chance for the media to ask their questions today. It's your chance, fans, coming up on Wednesday evening. The Ed Ogeron Show live from TJ Ribs at 7 o'clock. Come join us for dinner. If you can't make it, you can call in with your question or tweet us live at LSU Radio. Then on Saturday morning, the guys will get us started at 9 a.m. with LSU Game Day presented by CST. Former Tigers Garrett Brumfield, Marlon Favorite, and your host Hunt Palmer will get you set for the action of the day around the SEC. Then they'll hand it off. Doug Morrow, Gordy Rush, myself will be inside Davis Wade Stadium for the call of the game. Once again, kickoff just after 11 a.m. My thanks to Gordy Rush. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks to head coach Ed Ogeron. And until